All right, Danny. Man, we got some incredible news today. I'm super excited about this. Now, it's not officially official yet, but we heard about this a couple days ago in an ESPN article about roster rule change with MLS. And today we had Paul Tenorio put out an article, or The Athletic put this out, saying that MLS owners will get a presentation from Sporting and Competition Committee regarding long overdue, and he put that in quotation, roster rule changes that open spending. CBA is still a massive part of this equation, but these changes are needed for MLS to grow. So, what was your initial reaction when you saw that this was actually happening now, or looks like it's going to happen now?
Initial excitement.
Hey, real quick, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're growing like crazy. The World Cup is among us, and we have a lot of content you guys are not going to want to miss. So also make sure you guys hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos.
And then very quickly after that, I've been burnt by stuff like this before. I thought we'd be at 4 DPs by now for a couple of years now. I thought the calendar change would have started after the World Cup. There's a lot of reasons why it went from excitement to trepidation. And I'm holding my excitement because I've heard that it's a significant jump. What's rumored, right? Because at the moment it's what, like almost 6 million, the salary cap. I've heard that it's upper 20s, possibly 30s. That's a significant jump if it were to do something like that. And if that's the case, like all of a sudden you can be competing with any of the top, and I'm not talking about English Premier League. I understand that the top two or three are going to stay the top two or three, but any other league you can compete with them straight out, because my understanding is that you keep the 3 DP spots, which is great. On top of that, the salary increases. And if you're talking about an hypothetical, and I'm just throwing this number out there, right? Just an arbitrary number. Let's say 30 million, which is really high, but I'm shooting for the stars here. Let's say it's 30 million, and you get 3 DPs that don't count towards that 30 million. You split that up into, and I understand that the roster is huge, but let's say the bulk of that goes to 8 other players. Those 8 players, if you pay them the same, which you wouldn't, but if you would, each can make around $3 million a year. That's more than a TAM player does. And we've been getting TAM Suarez's. We've been getting TAM Werner's. Could you imagine what you could do with just $3 million or more to send some of these players? All of a sudden, you don't have to say, oh, our defenses all suck because we don't have money to spend on defenses. Guess what? We can improve our defenses across the league because now we can spend more money. Like it's a home run across the board. But now the question is it really going to happen?
So let me tell everyone listening what is proposed, because I can't pull it up specifically. So this is just based on our interpretation of what is supposed to change. They're supposed to lax the rules, get rid of GAM, TAM, all this stuff, have 3 DP still, 3 U22 still, and then have a salary cap of $30 million. That's the most you can spend. And then there's a salary cap floor of $15 million, meaning every team has to at least spend $15 million. And based on what I've heard, they're going to get rid of transfer fees counting towards a DP designation. It's just going to be that's incredible.
Terrible. Yeah, that's a terrible rule when you have to, because before we had to, that transfer fee counted against the cap for the length of the contract, which is terrible.
Yeah, so it could turn a guy who wouldn't be a DP, say he's making $1 million salary, but his fee is $8 million. He's going to be a DP now. So that sucks. But that is, Danny, I can't tell you how many good players there are in the world that would only cost $1 million salary, but you need to pay $10 million to get them, and you can't do that. So Major League Soccer has to utilize free transfers. Look at all the guys that you just said, Miami. Most of their big signings are free transfers outside of a couple, but most of them are free transfers. And that's the only way they've been able to fit them under the salary cap. But with this, the DPs, I'm assuming, are still going to be roughly a 600 to 700K cap hit, right? So I'm saying that you have $30 million. You take the DPs aside, you're probably going to have around $27 million to play around with to build around your DPs.
Doubt that. You don't think that?
You think it's even more than that?
I think they'll split it at the average, what the average salary would be, split it 11 ways. So probably like 3 mil. They couldn't do that because the big teams, forget about it. They're gonna have way too much money to spend. Like even that would be a large disparity.
I think it's still going to be like what it is right now, because
you think so? I hope you're right, but I don't see it, man.
Because that'd be a crazy jump.
The small time owners, the ones that don't want to spend a lot of money, they're still trying to keep the parity, and that would be a large advantage if you get to keep the 3 DPs and it only takes up 3 mil out of the 30. I think that I mean, I hope you're right, but I
Well,
don't.
well, the article did say that they've even studied about having super teams, and I mean that's what it said. They've discussed if this is a good thing because they said every league in the world has super teams to a certain degree, and is it good or bad for the league? Is it help build the brands? I based on what I've heard, I think it is going to stay relatively the same, and they're going to have 27 million to fill out the roster. Now, as it currently stands, only the top 20 highest salaries count towards the cap. So you would essentially have $27 million to spend on 17 players because the DP is already done with, right? They've already got those accounted for.
Yep.
The roster
U22s apparently.
U22s get to stay. Danny, the roster you could build with 27 million. This is the great thing about soccer. You and I love basketball, football. We love all kinds of different sports. There's more professional soccer players than any other sport in the world. You can get good value with players all around. You can get a good player for 1 or 2 million salary. We just talked about a minute ago. With 27 million to build out your roster, Major League Soccer is going to transform in a year, like 1 or 2 years. It's going to look like a completely different league with this happening. This is the biggest. When this happens, this will be the biggest day in Major League Soccer history, in my opinion, of change, of what will make this league look different.
I 100% agree. This is, you know how they say Beckham was MLS 2.0 and Messi was the start of MLS 3.0. I believe that this supersedes the Beckham, even the Messi. I know Messi brought a crazy amount of attention, but being able to now just improve the league overall with the quality on the pitch, on top of probably bringing some more name recognition, I think this is the biggest thing since the start of the league. I think that this would be astronomical. And just real quick, there's only, and I know it's a lot, but I'm talking about the richest and best league in the world. There's only 70 players in the English Premier League that make more than $10 million. Like, the majority of the league makes less than $10 million. And that's the largest league, best league, the richest league in the world. When we start talking about, I forget what they call the Dutch league. When you have the Portuguese, all those leagues, like, you can compete with all those leagues and all those players. Tell them you can come over here and play for a similar money, if not more money. Like, this is huge.
I'm going to pull those up in just a second, but I looked at this. The highest paid player in the Eredivisie, and now this is just according to what I could find when I'm just searching it, right?
So you looked that up. Okay, perfect. That's what I was thinking also. Okay.
Serginho Dest is the highest paid player in the Eredivisie, and he only makes 3.9 million euros. He's the highest paid player in the entire league. There are several MLS players that make more money than him. He is the highest. He's a right back. He's the highest paid player in the entire Eredivisie, and he makes 3.9. That's their highest. So their average is probably 1 million, maybe 1.2 million. I mean, I don't even know if it's that high, honestly. If he's the highest paid,
imagine that, because I went straight to the richest before I haven't had a chance to look at the rest. But yeah, but that's what I mean. If the highest paid player in that league is getting paid what the average salary is here, all of a sudden you can go headhunting for their best players. And you can offer them $4, $5 million, $6 million to come live in the United States and play here. A league that is on the come up, that has a Messi, a Son, a Lewandowski. It has now name recognition. This is huge. And when it comes to competing with the second tier leagues, right outside the top 5, this puts us right in the mix.
No, it does. And it's almost hard to believe, but I mean, this is what we read. I mean, this is very credible people putting these numbers out. And, to your point, it has to be voted on, which I think they're voting on it tomorrow, or at least discussing it tomorrow in this meeting in Charlotte for the All-Star weekend. But, the only thing I will say, just to kind of pause a little bit on it, is last year they met around this time to talk about the calendar. They didn't vote for it at that time. They waited a little bit. Then they voted on it in November. So they waited a little bit. So we might not hear anything tomorrow, but I do think that they'll probably get a good sense of if they're wanting to do this. And I even heard from someone that one owner wanted the salary cap to be even more than this. They were wanting $40 million and a $25 million salary cap floor, but other owners really weren't on board with that. They thought that was too much. So this was the compromise that they had as a league: 15 million salary cap floor, $30 million salary cap max, and then giving a little bit more getting rid of some of these silly rules and making it simpler for everyone to
Yeah,
follow.
let's get rid of the discovery rule because that's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. I hate
Get rid
that.
of the discovery rule. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. That way teams can't get in trouble for signing players that never played for other teams.
Right, and that they want to go to a certain team, like, or even better, DK that got drafted by Orlando, and all of a sudden his discovery rights are with another team, and Orlando has to pay that team. You make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It's insane. I know it's dibs. I know everybody, will come in the comment section and say, "Oh, it's not discovery, it's dibs." Either way, dibs, it's still stupid.
Yeah.
It's still dumb. Okay, before we get into these salaries, because I do want to compare this, Danny. If this happens, right, it's reported that they will make these changes this at the end of the season, right before the winter, or maybe
Right.
during the winter, right before the
For the
sprint season
spring.
starts, right?
Right.
Which I like. I'm glad that they get like a kind of like a test run before they go to their new calendar so they can kind of implement this and see how it goes. What do you think is going now? We know it's a big deal, but like how big of a deal is this going to be? Where do you think MLS is going to be with these rule changes? Like, are we going to, you talked about the big five, but like, is this going to be immediate? I mean, what are you thinking as far as the improvement? Hey, everyone, quick word from our sponsor, FanDuel. If you're into soccer like I am, you already know how exciting La Liga, the Premier League, and MLS matches can get. With FanDuel, you can make it even more fun by placing bets on your favorite teams and matches across all three leagues. Whether it's a Premier League showdown, a La Liga thriller, or an MLS game with your local club, FanDuel makes it easy and exciting to bet on what you watch. Just remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play. Please bet responsibly and only if you're of legal age and in a state where it's allowed. Download the FanDuel app or head over to fanduel.com, sign up, and get in on the action. Thanks for supporting the channel through FanDuel.
I think maybe not next summer because, well, first of all, for the sprint season, yeah, I can see a huge movement because typically there's not a lot of player movement in the wintertime. So you'll see some names, not a lot. Next summer, you'll see, I think, the following summer after the Euros and Copa America and all those things, I think that's when we're going to see the biggest move when we've already had that in place for a full season or 18 months. You have those players that like to play those international tournaments before making a move to another league. I think in 2 summers, that's when we'll see the biggest boom. And I do think that this is going to be like a rocket straight up the ass. Like it's going to send us top 10. And I'm talking like closer to 5 than people think. And I think it'll be in a span of not immediate, but like with before 2030, people will be talking about us in the top 7, 8 leagues in the world if this goes through, because we'll be able to bring so much more talent over here.
It feels like our league is just completely transforming overnight. We get the European calendar now. Spending is going through. This league's gonna be unrecognizable, I think, in a
And
year.
both those things will contribute to players coming over, because although I loved my summer soccer, let me be very free, because that was selfish of me. During the summer, I like attending MLS games. But outside of that, when it comes to getting players to come over to this league, not having a summer transfer window before a season starts was killing us. And this is going to help us on top of being able to pay players more money. Like this is huge, and I really hope it goes through. Now, before you go to what they were going to show, I just had one quick question for you.
Yeah.
Before we heard about this and the numbers that were projected, if I would have came in, I would have had a conversation with you, and I would have asked you, what would you be happy with if they increase the salary? And at the moment, before we heard these numbers, what would you thought was a realistic number that you would have been happy with? Because I'll tell you, I would have been happy if they would have doubled it. If they would have told me it goes from 6 to 12, I would have been ecstatic. And that's because I thought that was realistic.
I think I had a tweet a year ago or something like that where I said I would have been cool with like a salary cap like max of like 20 million, which is 10 million less. I would have been okay with that. Maybe add an extra DP spot, like 4 DPs and 20 million. I would have been cool with that. So this has exceeded my you mentioned this earlier. You said that like with this, you always have to prepare for the worst. And if something good happens, you're pleasantly surprised. Like that's kind of how this was. I wasn't expecting this. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible.
No, and I'm right with you. I remember in my mind, when I always thought about the rules, I was like, they're not going to jump it up too high. Just double it and give us an extra DP. Then we get 4 DPs or 3 U22s, and then give us 12 million to spend with, and I would have been thrilled. This, forget about it. This is more than I could have wished for. if it
Yeah.
goes through.
Before I show this too, let me ask you this. So now that this is happening, I looked this up too. I didn't make a graphic for this one or to look at, but when I looked up the numbers, the highest paid, and I'll share this real quick too, so we can look at MLS. But when I looked up the highest payrolls for Liga MX teams, the highest payroll team I want to say was 26 million euros. Okay. Now currently Inter Miami has a $54.6 million payroll, but this is misleading to all the
Of
people who are
course.
casual because the 3DPs probably make collectively 42, 43 million dollars. So that's where most of the bulk of this comes. So with the new proposed plan, Inter Miami would have the $43 million, but an additional 27 million dollars. That's so it'd be closer to a $70 million payroll instead of a $54 million payroll. So
Mm-hmm.
I know it looks like a lot. They are spending a lot, but this is a little bit deceiving.
Right.
Now, I was going to tell you, Monterrey, highest payroll in Liga MX, 26 million euros right now.
That's it.
That's it, 26 million euros. The highest paid player in Liga MX only makes like $5 million, which is a lot, but they only don't have many guys doing that.
No, Liga MX this is like their worst nightmare.
Yeah, I agree. Like
This is their worst nightmare.
I know that I make a lot of proclamations and I'm wrong about most of them, I guess, when it comes to Liga MX and MLS. But I'm telling you right now, Danny, if they do this and it gets approved, MLS will absolutely run this region. They will win every CONCACAF Champions Cup every year. I don't think it'll be close.
Not even close. And you got to give it like a year or two, but it's going to become like one-sided.
By far. I mean, we'll have the depth, the quality. It's going to get, I mean, we're already competing. We're not winning, but we're competing with what we got right now. I think it could get ugly. Like, I think MLS is probably going to get bored and move on and look for another, another league to slay. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if the Premier League comes calling and they try to do some type of.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about that.
Not for Leagues Cup, but I'm talking about if MLS gets to a level where they're good, I do think they'll probably try to do something where the Premier League champion will play the MLS champion.
Maybe just because the fact that, I mean, they know this is where the money is, right? This is where a lot of those teams come on those summer tours. Liverpool just played a game against Wrexham, I believe it was around here. Like, they know this is where the money is. So, of course, they're going to want to come here and play with the domestic league here a little bit. But
exactly.
Definitely no Leagues Cup type thing, though.
Well, no, definitely not that. But okay. I do think they'll try to have like the champion play our champion just to try to like for a cash grab or something.
For sure. Kind of like the Campeones that they just announced the other day.
That will be dead if we start running Champions Cup. That will be over with.
Be dead already. It's such a dumb.
I know. No one cares about. There's way too many competitions with Liga MX teams. Okay, so the first graph I'm going to share. This is the Eredivisie. Okay, this is the top 5 highest payrolls. And can you see that pretty well?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so the top 5 highest payrolls in the Eredivisie is PSV at 31.9 million euros, Ajax at 29.3, and Feyenoord at 21 million euros. So if we do this, we're automatically jumping them like crazy. Like I just said, Miami would have a $70 million payroll.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't just be 2 guys making money. It would be like 3 guys making money and then a bunch to fill out the rest of the roster. So that's encouraging, right? We're going to clear Eredivisie. A lot of people think we're maybe a better league already from top to bottom, which I probably agree with. But even our top would be better than the Eredivisie if this goes through. The next one. Now, this is interesting. This is the Portuguese league, right? The Portuguese league is better than their Eredivisie. Benfica's payroll is 54.2 million, so about 20 plus million more than what was PSV. I think was the highest paid team in the Eredivisie. So our MLS would be even surpassing Benfica. Danny, Porto 31 million, Sporting CP 28 million euros. Like, do you get like? I hope the people listening understand that there are a lot of good teams whose payrolls aren't as high as you think they are.
That is one great point by you with these stats. Great. And I'll tell you another thing that isn't necessarily pictured with the top 5. The fact that the majority of these leagues are top heavy. So you have the top 3 or 4 teams that spend this much. But what was rumored is that our floor would be 15.
Yes.
Right here you have Braga that's spending 14.3. That's the 4th highest. We would have 30 teams above that. Like, you can't tell me that we're not just going to start ransacking leagues and just taking some of their players. Now, I understand that there's more that goes into that. I understand that there's some players that are like, no, I want to be in Europe. This is the highest quality. I want to play in Champions League. And I understand that that's a big pull. But there are going to be a lot of players that are unproven, that want to prove themselves, make some money along the way. So I understand that 100% we can't just take everybody or a large chunk because everybody wants to play in Champions League and stuff. But this is huge. Look at that. This is ridiculous.
What you just said is so important because if this happens, the only league that will be deeper than MLS will be the Premier League. We will be the deepest league from top to bottom of any league in the world. I'm not saying we're the best. I'm saying deepest. Like our worst team will be better than most teams' worst team outside probably the Premier League. And that will make the league better because it means you're not having any weeks off. You're not going to have a team beat up on bad teams.
But it's going to take a while to get there because, like I said, it's going to take a while to get the 20th to 30th team to get quality players because again, the lore of playing in Europe and Champions League still trumps a lot. But yeah, but it's definitely going to, like you said, the quality is going to come up exponentially in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be ridiculous to change.
Now, this one's the most interesting one. I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't do Serie A. I didn't do the Premier League, La Liga, or the Bundesliga. I did Ligue 1, okay? Because Ligue 1 is a one-team league. And a lot of people think that outside of that, it's not very
maybe
good.
Monaco, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so this is the salaries, the highest paid salaries in the Ligue 1. So PSG makes their payroll is 184 million. So
Marseille,
take them out though. Marseille 70 million, Lyon 55, Monaco 51, Lille 41. So if you take PSG out of here, our highest paid teams are going to be up there with these teams now. Our salaries, our payrolls are going to be right up there with the Marseilles, the Lyons, the Monacos, and the Lille. So we will be, we'll be up there competing. A lot of people consider this to be the 5th best league in the world. It's very very top heavy with PSG, but this is where we'll be at. So if this is where we're competing at, like our salaries with these other top, not the best team, but the next 4, that's when we start approaching top 6 league in the world, Danny.
Yes, and the floor, which is I think the most interesting part that was rumored, is that if there is a floor of 15 mil, you all of a sudden have salary caps are spending, teams that are spending more money than the majority of these leagues. Because I'm sure these are the top 5, but I'm sure if you look at the rest, I'm sure a lot of them are probably under 15 mil, right? Because those teams that get, let's say, promoted, those 2 or 3 teams that get promoted in certain leagues, they're not spending 15 mil. They're just happy that they made it to the big show before they get relegated again. So the quality compared to these leagues from top to bottom is going to be it's going to be crazy. But you look, the top teams are still going to be in Europe, and you can't deny that.
So I don't know if this is accurate because I Googled this, but I just wanted to check it out real quick because of what you just said. So the bottom 5 teams in Ligue 1, their estimated payroll is Lee Harvey, 12 million euros. Angers, I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry, the pronunciation.
And that's more than I thought.
Yeah, but still, it's very. 12 million is very low. Still, that's still very, very low. And I don't think it's this could be inaccurate. I'm not 100% sure. But I think that their middle is very close. Like I think once you get to like the 30 to 40 million, I think there's a lot of teams like in that range. So I don't know. Maybe there's not, but MLS doing this is just going to put them on a whole different scale. They're going to win multiple Champions Cups. They're going to, the quality in football over the next 3 to 4 years is going to jump drastically. The biggest jump we've ever seen in this league history by far. And what's cool too, Danny? Last thing I'll say, if this happens, we'll get to see 1 year of Messi, which we've all been wanting to see. What could they do? Who could they pull? We'll get to see 1 year of him in this new format and see what kind of roster they can build around him for his final season. I'm assuming will be his final season playing
I
ball.
didn't even consider that, but yeah, because he's wanted to bring players. They've wanted to bring players, but they can't. They don't have the funds. They don't have the DP slots open. Look at Casemiro. Casemiro was flirting with LA Galaxy for a while, and Messi showed up in Inter Miami. He's like, no, this is where I want to be. I want to be here. I want to play with Messi. Could you imagine the team that they can build for that last season he's here? Absolutely. I hadn't even considered that. That's huge for a player that can attract other stars.
I just think it would have been a travesty if Messi had retired and then they did this and we never got to see at least one season of what team they could assemble with him just recruiting. People want to play a discount and go to Miami, right? So yeah, this is awesome. Uh, I got one more final question for you. Just curious
Yeah,
what you
go.
would think about this. So Inter Miami have the allure, tropical place, winning culture now. Like they're building this new stadium,
No
everything,
state
right?
tax.
No state tax. It's honestly the new era LA Galaxy to me. Like it's the it club of MLS right now. It's just a fact it is, right?
Mhm.
What type of team do you think they could build globally with these new rules? Like, do you think they could build a top 30 team in the world with these new rules?
In the world, possibly, because I think you can get a lot of the players that are in their early 30s that were considering maybe waiting to move over to MLS in a couple of years. I think that you'll get them like right at the end of their peak, of their peak, rather than when they're in their mid 30s to have that last season to play with Messi. And some of them will even take a pay cut. You've seen it. Luis Suarez took a TAM deal. Jordi Alba played 2 years under a TAM deal. Like some of these teams, players will currently Casemiro is going to play for half a TAM this year, for this last half of the year. Like you're going to see players take pay cuts. If they can do this, they're going to build one hell of a roster for his farewell tour in 27, 28. And I'm here for it, obviously.
I think Messi and Inter Miami are going to win at least one Champions Cup before he retires.
Mm.
I don't know if it's going to be this year or if it's going to be the first year of this. Or when I say this year, I meant like the sprint season. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I think the team they're going to build is crazy, and I think they'll have a very good
They
chance.
got to qualify, right? I mean, even though a lot of teams qualify, but they got to qualify first.
They do have to qualify. Okay. So any final thoughts? I mean, this is great news, man. I couldn't wait to call you when it happened. I was super excited.
I'll tell you my final thoughts. Don't get too excited
Yeah.
because Will's going to be on here when he gets the news bitching about how MLS has again refused to grow when they had the opportunity and all this other stuff. Because I'm excited. Like the thought of this league growing that much gets me really excited, and then I'm like, but don't get too excited because it might not. They might not do it. They should have done the fourth DP. I thought a year or two ago. They didn't do it. They should have increased the salary cap a while ago. They haven't done it. Why now? Why would they do it now? Well, the fact that they're changing the calendar makes me feel like, oh, maybe they're ready to make some changes. So maybe, but I would hold the excitement until you hear it's official. If you find out that instead of 30, we're getting 20 and the floor is 10, would you still be happy?
Yes.
Or did the new number already get you too excited and not
No,
see anything less?
I'm so excited. It's better than what
Okay.
we have now.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
that's
making sure.
all. I just want to see some change. I want to see some change. That's all I want to see. And I'll say this too. My final thoughts: the players have to approve this first because you have to get the players association to agree to terms when any type of salary is changed or any type of numbers and budget. So they have to approve this. I'll be curious to see how they do that in a timely fashion. I honestly thought this wasn't going to happen until the CBA ended in 2028. So this is good. And a lot of people, multiple people have told me that they're trying to get this done and implemented by the end of this year so that next year they're ready to go. So I feel like that's a good sign because we heard with the calendar, there was uncertainty. Oh, when do we do this? When we do it this year, next year? We want to do it now. All the owners want to do it. Executives are on record saying they want to do it. I feel like this will be different. I don't know if these are going to be the final numbers. These are just what's reported, but I do think something is going to happen at the end of this year. That's what I'll say.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Danny, I appreciate you for coming on. Guys, make sure you go follow him. We collabed with him. Go subscribe to the Battered Soccer Fans, right? I always it's Battered Soccer Fans channel. We will be collabing, so go subscribe to him. And also make sure you check him out on Battered Herons, which I don't think he has a regular schedule, but him and Chris do a lot of different episodes, and it's going to ramp up
4
more.
or 5 a week, yeah.
4 or 5. I don't know what their set schedule is. They're on all the time. Make sure you guys go subscribe to that as well. Danny, I appreciate it, my friend. And listen, these are great times ahead. And this is I feel like we're entering the golden era of MLS.
Fingers crossed, man.
Fingers crossed. Until next time, guys, I'll see you all soon.